Hey, welcome everyone. So the last time we talked about SPY, we uh, we saw the market net flow, we saw the dealer positioning, which was before the OPEX, and this was exactly the day I released the video, and I said that we will have a short squeeze in the market based on the options market data, and look where we are today. Look where we are yesterday, basically, right? We moved from basically on Tuesday here, we had a move almost, I mean, if you count it from the drop on Friday, October 21st, which is like, let's count it from Tuesday here. From the Tuesday opening price to here, it's roughly 6.38% move on SPY. And if you follow me on Twitter, I did say that we'll see a pullback on SPY roughly around on SPX roughly around 38.60 to 38.75, and we did see pullback all the way here, and then we saw a rip. This was basically Friday. So far last week we have been on point with our targets on SPY. So let's talk about what to expect this week. What else to expect in the upcoming sessions. Next few sessions are important. We will talk about what's there, and let's go with the options market data. So first of all, levels. Let's talk about some levels here. SPY. If you notice here, we did this double bottom here, and we actually, so this is the double bottom. We retested that. So double bottom retest, right? So what is our target here? So this is more clear. If you see this way, we got a W shape, we broke out, we retested that, and now the target roughly is from the low of this to the neckline, which is roughly 5 to 6%, right? Roughly 6% from this neck to retest, so which comes up to around 395, and if you count it right from the closing basis, comes roughly around 400. So where can we see SPY run up to? I think that we can see SPY run up to 395 to 400. Above 400, things can get interesting. Above 400, we could potentially retest this resistance here at 413. Although I think that there is a heavy resistance at 407 and 409 here. You could see previously we got multiple rejections at this level, multiple touch on these levels here, right? During this time, this was when we had a massive collapse in 2-3 days in the market. So this has been a huge level. So in order to break this, we'll need real push forward, and the market is kind of pricing in the Fed will pivot, which we'll talk about why this is not going to happen, and that's super unlikely in my opinion. Anyway, so we'll also talk about some of the gamma levels and like based on options flow and stuff like that. So for now, do I think the rally can continue more? The answer is yes. I think we can see it move past 395 as well with this kind of momentum. I think we can even see it to 400. Does that mean that we should buy calls right away? I don't think so. I think if to think from a practical point of view, where can you manage the risk most? I think that if we can retest 385 level, that's actually a really good area because you can manage the risk here easily. If it breaks below 381, you can cut it. But we could also gap up, and if it gaps up, you can't do anything about it. If you're singing call, congratulations, but you have to be tactical in this market. But just know that our measured move for this double bottom move and breakout is, this is basically the pattern here. And you can see here we are the first bottom, second bottom, and then we got the retest here. Okay, so let's talk about options market summary. So again, I'm gonna use Tradytics here. It's an insanely important tool in my opinion. If you don't have it, I will provide the link for if you want to join it and get some discount on it. But let's look at some things which caught my attention, right? So this is called market dex here, which is basically the net delta in the market before, like a day before. So if you notice here, we got a positive delta, and historically speaking, if you backtest this, using dex here, and we got a stop loss of let's say 1%, and how many, let's say that we exit the position same day, right? Same day entry and exit. You can see the algo is performed really good compared to SPY. Like, these are all the back tested results. So let's look at DEX chart again, and here we see that DEX is positive. So we can we can say that tomorrow is likely that market will move up based on this net delta of the market, and also a way to kind of gauge would be this market net flow at the open. If you start to see a lot of call buying here with this green line moving up, and algo flow is bullish, momentum is bullish, and everything else is bullish, then yeah, there is a chance that we could see move up. There's a chance we could gap up, right? So that's there with respect to the flow. Market net flow is bullish, and our targets, let's look at some of the targets. So let's look at some of the JEX values here in the market. So for that we need to go here into I think we need to go into options here, stocks. I'm still kind of getting familiar with it. But another thing you need to pay attention to is here we actually, the anchor VWAP from the previous swing high, we broke it, and we are right now closed above it. On Friday we closed above it. So it is definitely, we are above the 50-day moving average. We are above this anchored VWAP from the previous swing high. So far the momentum is super bullish. We got a really strong RSI, a lot of strong pressure to the upside on Friday as well. So everything looks great with respect to that. Now one thing I want to talk about is let's go to the SPY options dashboard here. So overall flow is bullish here on SPY, and then next thing we want to talk about is the gamma exposure levels, right? So these are the dealer Greeks buildup, and we talked about this after OPEX. The gamma is pretty much flipped to the positive here, delta and gamma. Now it's starting to go towards the negative, but we'll see what happens. Right now the net delta plus gamma is still in the positive territory, so that means most dips are going to be bought. Now let's look at the spot gamma levels, right? So again, we have talked about this in the previous video, why these are important, because price can these can act as magnets, and these can act as resistance as well. So right now we close around 390, right? We close around that level on SPY. So where can we see the next like move? I think that move towards 395 seems favorable with a lot of gamma here, right? And anything after that, I think the major level is 405, right? So and then we got a resistance here at 396. So and the cool thing is that if you filter it through the 3 days as well, again you can see here that for 3 days 395 remains the main gamma level, and then for 7 days here we got the 395 and 390 as the main gamma level. And then if we break below 390, the chances are then we could go back to 385. We could even go back here to 384. So that's what my thought process, that I think with looking at multiple different perspectives here, 395 seems to be the level which I'll be eyeing, and hopefully that would be level we need to kind of see how the price reacts to on SPY there. Now saying all that, now we have like a lot of economic events. Oh yeah, this was the double bottom thing I was talking about. So saying that we have a lot of economic events, what do I mean by that? Right, so today is let's look at today's date. So this is the SPY chart from a higher time frame perspective. Before I move forward with the economic data, I also want to point out that SPY was in a daily squeeze here to the upside, and we are on the fourth bar of it right now. So daily squeeze fire on SPY, and right now we consolidated and we're making a move up. Usually, like you can call this something like a flag, right? We consolidated, we break out. So when we break this flag, usually the next day is kind of like a gap up day, and Friday price action trends to continue on Monday. So it's possible that we will see this move towards 395 right? And that momentum is also super strong in the market. So far everything looks super bullish, right? But now let's talk about some other things, right? VIX, for example. Now VIX has been absolutely plunging because Apple earnings have, you know, Apple earnings are gone, Amazon earnings, all the big tech earnings are gone. Market anticipation is basically done. Despite the horrible earnings, we are seeing VIX kind of nosedive here. Now, saying that, now FOMC is next November 2nd. So do keep those dates in mind. We got the FOMC date in November 2nd. So what does that mean? That means that we could see this shot back up, right back up. It can happen. And we have seen this crazy moves on VIX intraday. So leading to FOMC, pay attention to VIX here. Don't sleep on it. Right now the trend on VIX is this down, and we could be, if this VIX goes all the way below 20, we could see a steady move on SPY all the way to 410, 412. It's possible, right? And let's look at Dixie as well. It's dollar index, important one to pay an attention to. Keep a close eye on this one as well. And if you look here, we kind of broke this daily 21 EMA, but then we are kind of consolidating here. This big range here, we are consolidating in this range. The squeeze definitely fired to the downside, but dollar moves more on macro than technicals. But we do have to pay attention to it. So it could very well just be flagging, just like here. We were flagging and then we broke out. We were flagging, we broke out. And again, we could very well just be doing this. We could have a bigger flag here, and then next thing you know, this thing is going off. Next thing you know, this thing is breaking out. So it's always the same, right? Consolidation, breakout, consolidation, breakout, consolidation, breakout, and trend is to the upside, so it's most likely going to follow and continue it until the trend completely changes to the downside. And when that happens, there is a chance that commodities can run. For example, crude oil, right? Crude oil, if dollar starts to show weakness, we gotta pay attention to crude oil and crude oil names. This is looking like a super breakout setup on crude oil right now. We got a long basing period, and now it's starting to hold. This daily EMA is flipping to the positive momentum. On the 4 hours, is much more visible here. The 4 hour EMA have flipped, and once it flips on the daily as well, there is a chance that we could retest this 105 level on crude oil, and we could even go back to 112. When that happens, guess what? The CPI data will not be good. So it's all balanced, right? Crude oil goes up, inflation data related to that, it affects everything in the market and affects everything in the economy, and that's why the data is not good, will not be good in the future data for inflation. And that means the Fed has to keep raising interest rates. So it's kind of like bad situation, because Dixie goes up, bad for the stock market because bonds will go up. And right now let's look at 10-year yields, right? For example, right now the 10-year yields pulled back, and then they had a green day. And now it looks like it's retesting this resistance right here at 4.01. And if you notice TLT, which is the bond ETF, it's starting to go back into this chop, and maybe it consolidates and then dumps again. And this itself is in a heavy downtrend. So paying attention to these factors here seems like like another thing to keep in mind is the HYG, which is high yield corporate bond. If it starts to kind of exhaust here and reverse, we could see continuation of our bearish momentum to the downside. And one more thing to pay attention to is this sector. We have the industrials, right? Industrials right now are definitely outperforming SPY, outperforming QQQ. And look at this, they are already almost at this channel resistance, while SPY is nowhere near it. SPY is nowhere near this channel resistance. It's far away from it. So if industrial starts to pull back here, this could very well just be back we back to the same resistance levels, and we back to the same trend where we go up and dump, go up and then dump, right? So couple things to pay attention to in the market. Now saying all this, everything can go, all our analysis can basically just vanish when Jerome Powell comes out and says that, okay, listen, guys, inflation is still hot, and guess what? We're gonna hike more and more. We're gonna hike more than the expected value of 75 BPS. Guess what? Market's not gonna like it, and we can get right back down like this big massive day. So don't discount that possibility. But so far, there is no sign to short the market. We don't have. Where would I be interested in shorting SPY? I mean, I'm not really interested in catching the top. I can get the move down. There's plenty of room down. So below 37, 374 is where is my line in the sand right now. Is that okay? If we are below 374, I'm gonna start thinking about opening a bearish position. Same thing here, below 3750, I'm looking into shorting. So anything above that is bullish. Let's just play the trend, don't fight the trend. Right now the trend is bullish. We got a confirmation on Friday that the trend is bullish, so let's not fight the trend. Pay attention to the market, pay attention to the data which is coming soon, and let's bank next week like all the other weeks. I'll see you in the other one.